Hey, how you doing? This one was really tricky. The traditional ways of getting to it were frustrating and annoying, um, but not insurmountable. So let me show you what I did. You could go through the library catalog and look up University of Utah Daily Student Chronicle. But I found that that just pointed to like there's an index up on the fourth floor, and I think it's like a card catalog you can look through, which I think is pretty sweet. You could go through that. But the one of the big problems I had was the word AIDS is like student aid, financial aid, autoimmune deficiency. Is all of those different things in there, foreign aid. And so, how do I get around that? Is the bigger problem that I actually ran into. Here's one of the problems also that I ran into is like, how do I search? Because they've digitized these just very recently, and you can like throw in keywords, and it's really reliable. But how do I get around that keyword problem that I just had? To save you the trouble of having to look it up in the catalog, you go to Utah Digital Newspapers. This is something that's been around a while. First thing that they scanned years ago was like old mining town newspapers, like Copperton and Bingham and things like that. Utah Digital Newspapers. I'm not going to say digital very often. When you go there, it says search all newspapers, which is chaos. So let's go to advanced search. Here's where it got tricky. I was looking for the Chronicle. Oh, and here's the cool thing. You can go by like title. You can look for authors and all of these. They're varying in reliability. But I was looking for Chronicle, Daily Chronicle. I was looking for Utah, blah, blah, blah. It turns out that they've changed the name of it to, and they've associated it with the University of Utah, which helps. So if you go to STU, now it's just called University of Utah Student Newspapers, assuming there's more than one, which is a bummer because I think most people look for the Chronicle, the Chrony, people know it as. Oh well, whatever. What you can do is you could type in AIDS, but you're going to get, it doesn't quite work. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to put in the whole acronym, which I've already cut and pasted from another place. And when you go way down to the bottom of the final query, as it's called, do you see how it does acquired and I want those words stuck together. So what I would do here is put it in quotes. Now let's see what happens. It didn't change it. Well, let's see what happens. In a normal database, it would. Okay, there's 28. That's really good. And look at the time frame, 1989 to 1997. That's really good. So in the early 80s, it wasn't quite known what was going on. People were getting sick. There was targeted populations that were being picked on. Religious leaders got involved, and it was all kind of messy until the research figured out that it was a virus and how the virus was spread, and then how to do research on that and all of the social stuff where people talking about it in a more rational way happened later. So I found a couple really, really cool things that will work as primary and secondary sources for the class that you're in. But I want to show you that whatever keywords you put in, they get highlighted, which is really cool. So here you can see acquired syndrome. My keywords got highlighted. Isn't it interesting that deficiency didn't show up? I don't know why, but it doesn't matter. So when you see this UPI, that's United Press International, or API is Associated Press. Those are from news feeds that they use to fill. So you're going to want to avoid the news feed stuff. You're going to want to find something that was written by a Chronicle writer. And so you just got to go through and see, is there like a byline? Is there somebody who's like stating, I am a staff writer on the Chronicle? And they will. It's going really slow. Oh, birth control. But here, let's zoom in. Yeah, look at that. So this one, there's AIDS and STD. It shows up as like a side light, but here you can see the byline. You can see somebody is an associate editor. It's the authorship belongs to the University of Utah. So you would cruise through. There's only 28 here, but there was one really awesome one that I found. That there was a student who did a hunger strike for AIDS research, and they interviewed the student, and they talked about, why did you go on the hunger strike? What did it feel? What populations were you representing, and things like that. It was really, really good. Oh, there's financial aid. Guidelines set for students and employees. So dig through these, because I know there's one that was related to a hunger strike. How would I look for a hunger strike? Let's see if we can add that. This might be just the one you were looking for. Acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Clicked on the right newspaper. Fingers crossed. It's like magic, but it's only because I did this before I started the video. Oh, this is 1989, May 18th. So, AIDS education, and then here's former U student gives up on hunger strike. But look here, it's an ASUU reporter, so University of Utah Associated Student Union. This is great. It's a primary source, and they're saying there's lots of quote marks. So they're saying what matters, what's important. Hope this helps. Let me know how it goes.